Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Jumping right into it today, as the title says, we will be installing the Sports FD2 wing onto my 97 Civic sedan. So if you're not up to date, I have a part 1 video of when I first got the wing. I ordered the wing from ICB Motorsports out in the West Coast, and the wing was everything I expected and more. The quality you get from Spoon is like second to none. I'm probably biased because I love anything Spoon Sports related. So today I am going to be fitting this Spoon Sports FD2 wing onto my car, mounting it, and showing you guys what tools I use and little tricks on how to help keep the carbon fiber from cracking when you drill it, and what I do to protect the holes that I drill into the carbon fiber from oxidation later on, from washing the car, whatever else may be. So I've got the wing here. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to throw it onto the trunk. I already put some tape down more or less where the stands are going to be. The reason I do this is, one, so I don't scratch the carbon, which, gotta say, I love this carbon. So yeah, I put the tape here so I can lay the stands down and not have to worry about scratching the carbon or damaging it at all. So also it helps out with me marking the holes on where I have to drill. All right, so as you see, the tape is going to protect the carbon fiber from when I lay the wing and the stands down onto the trunk. So I line it up as best as I can with the edge of the trunk. So when I do the tape, if you can see, I leave just a tiny little line of the carbon fiber. You don't have to, but I do that just so I know where the edge of the trunk is. So I line them up on both sides. On the sedan trunk, unfortunately, there's a little lip that comes up off of it, so I can't bring the wing all the way back as I'd like to. So this is just about as far back as I can go before I get a gap between the wing stand and the trunk. So I don't recommend bringing it all the way back on a sedan. On a coupe, which is flat, I'm pretty sure you can get away with getting further back, but this is where I noticed is the optimal spot for at least my liking. So what I end up doing is measuring from the end of the trunk to this point of the wing stand, and the same here, end of the trunk to this point of the wing stand on both sides, so I can make sure I have the wing centered on my trunk. You don't want it too much to the left or too much to the right. You want it dead center. So now I'm just going to take a marker. I'm going to mark my holes. And now I can take the wing off and see where the marks are all lined up on the trunk. So you can see my dots on the tape. That's where the wing stands are going to mount. So just to confirm that I'm in the middle of the trunk, I'm going to grab my handy dandy tape measure. Going to pull this and line it up as best I can with that hole. And I'm looking at just about 1 1/16 inches. So let's go compare it to the other side. And I'm looking at just about the same, 1 1/16 inches. So I can pretty much tell myself that the wing is going to be centered on the trunk, not too much to one side or the other, which is ideally what you want. So now I'm going to start drilling these holes. I do not take the tape off, obviously, because then you don't know where your markings are. I leave the tape on because it helps prevent or minimize the cracking of the trunk or the carbon when you drill through it. Just also another thing, when you're drilling, don't go all the way, like push all the way through, because then you're going to hit your car or the weather strip seal or whatever else may be under there, and then it goes for an unclean install. And I'm sure everyone wants a nice, clean, simple, good looking installation. So the holes are now drilled. I drilled them, I forgot to push record on my camera when I drilled it like a dummy, but anyway, I'm sure you guys know how to use a drill. So I just went just past where I felt the bit pop through the carbon fiber, because like I said, I don't want to go all the way through. So the holes are drilled. I blew off and wiped away all the carbon fiber that was here, and also in the trunk area, or at least the trunk frame area. So I cleaned all that up. What I also did is, if you see, here's one of the holes, but these holes here, it's a double layer. So you have the top layer of carbon, and then you have a bottom layer, which is more of like the skeleton. So, you know, I didn't put any tape here, so it kind of cracked it. But what I did was I took a larger drill bit and made this hole big enough for me to fit the socket that's going to hold the nut of the bolt in place. So I went through my bits and I found what fit a number 8 socket, so I can fit in here, so I can hold the nut and still be able to tighten from the front or the top of the trunk. So I did that on both ends, or both sides of the trunk. This one came out a little worse than the other, but I'm going to show you what I do to help protect the carbon fiber from these horrible, horrible holes that I drilled. So one of the things I always like to have with me when I do anything with the car is my Duplicolor paint match paint, touch-up paint. Come on, focus. Come on, GoPro, focus. Anyways, this is the specific paint code that matches my car. So it's NH538, which is frost white. One side is the paint and the other side is a clear. So what I'm going to end up doing is opening this up. Well, you know, always shake before use. I'm going to take the clear and go around the holes. In doing so, it helps seal the free carbon that's there, like the little phrase of it, and it'll help protect it. So I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, you'll see some carbon fiber hoods or trunks or whatever that get like a bubble in them after having a chip. So what happens is water starts getting under the clear and starts spreading through the carbon, and it starts to lift the clear from the carbon. So to help prevent that from happening, either on the outside over here or on the inside in here, I'm just going to take some clear and cover these areas that I've exposed because of my crappy drilling. But this should help. I can't guarantee that it's going to fix everything or prevent everything, but it'll prevent more than not doing anything at all. So I shook my paint pen up. I've got the clear. It's on like a little foam applicator. Now, hopefully I don't drip anything anywhere, but I'm just going to go over all of this open area where the carbon is. Sorry, I didn't focus there, but it should help keep this part of the carbon fiber from getting messed up in the future. Now I'm going to close this up, remove the tape, and see what I've got under the tape. Okay, so if you can see, the tape helped a little bit, didn't completely keep it from chipping, but since I have some exposed carbon there, I'm going to do the same thing again with the paint pen. I'm going to take the clear and just lightly apply it to where there is exposed carbon. Now I'm just going to let this dry, and then I can start mounting the wing onto the trunk. Alright, so the tape is off. The clear is now dry on both sides. I propped my trunk up because I don't have the bars on the trunk to keep it open on its own, so I had to prop it. So what I'm going to do is I lay out my hardware right in here just so I have easy access to it because I'm doing this with one hand. But I'm going to take a bolt with a washer and I'm going to stick it through the first hole on the bracket, this one right here. My fat finger's pointing right at it, right there. And then what I'm going to do is slide that first bolt into that top hole, right? And then I'm going to hold the bracket, grab another bolt, and put the next bolt in at the bottom, just so I can keep the bracket from swinging around and making a mess while I'm trying to install it. Come on. There it is. So those two bolts are going to hold there. Now I'm going to take a washer, right? Flat washer. Put it on. Oh, don't lose it. It's hard with one hand. Take a washer, a lock washer, and one of the nuts. So these are all supplied in the hardware kit that comes from Spoon. So now I know my bracket is secure, at least there. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to get the washer and lock washer onto these other two holes here, because I definitely can't fit my sausage fingers in those holes. So what I came up with was a pick, or you can use a toothpick or paper clip, whatever has a small flattish end on it. So I've got the pick already set up with the lock washer on it first, and then the washer. So now I can take the pick, put it towards the end of the screw or the bolt, angle it down, make sure they're both in there. Whoops, just stabbed myself. Yep, they are both. Whoa, don't lose it, no. All right, they're both in there. Now I can grab my 8mm socket with the nut and try to thread this bad boy in. All right, that one's threaded. Now to do the same thing for the next one. There now. Now we can take the nut in the 8mm socket and thread this one too. There we go. So I'm not tightening them down completely yet until I get the whole wing mounted on. So I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll bolt the wing onto the brackets, and then we tighten the whole thing down. So the brackets are mounted to the trunk. I did not fully secure them just yet because I want to get the wing mounted to the brackets, and then I'll snug everything up. So what I'm doing is I'm just setting up the bolts for the bracket to the wing. There's 2 on each side. These are the ones that use the number 10 socket and the number 5 Allen key. So I'm just going to leave them here so I know I've got exactly what I need. Also, I'm trying to be very careful not to scratch my carbon. This is probably not the ideal way to do it, but this is what I'm doing. Alright, now grabbing my wing, being very cautious not to scratch anything. I'll do this side. You can probably see the side a little bit better. Holding the wing up with one arm, got my other hand free. Taking one bolt, gonna line the wing up with the bracket and push it through the hole. Now I'm gonna take the front bolt, do the same. And again, just like putting the bracket onto the trunk, we're gonna start with a washer, then a lock washer, and then a nut. So I've got that on for now, and again, washer, lock, washer, and nut. Did all this without letting this side touch the trunk. So hopefully I did that with hopes of not damaging the carbon in the trunk. So now I push the bolt through, push the second bolt through, and the same thing. Washer, lock, washer, nut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten these wing stands to the bracket, and then I tighten the bracket to the trunk. Remember, you don't have to go like gorilla tight on these. These are, small bolts. You don't want to snap them, nor do you want to crack the carbon fiber that is being used to attach the wing bracket to the stand. Alright, so now these stands are attached to the bracket. I'm going to lift the trunk, or open the trunk, and then tighten these down to the nuts that are underneath. So I've got my number 8 socket attached to the back and my number 3 Allen key, and I'm going to snug down the front with. Again, this is carbon fiber to carbon fiber, so you don't want to over tighten anything, but you do want to make it secure enough so you don't have to worry about the wing flopping off the car. Alright, going to secure the other side, and then it is walk around time. Well, there it is, the Spoon Sports FD2 wing on my 97 Civic sedan. And I've got to say, I love this thing with a passion. It is like the perfect width. It's, if you take a look, it's literally right down the side of the car. You kind of can't beat it. And this little curve here, man, this thing is so good. Can't wait to see how this thing performs. That curve, this end plate. I love that the wing doesn't come too far forward like my last one did. It took a pitch to the front a lot. This is very nice. Doesn't protrude past the trunk too much, but needs a little spray wax because my greasy fingers have been all over it. But look at how well this fits right along the side of the carbon trunk. This is beautiful. I love everything about this. Perfect. I want to get that Spoon Sports banner, throw it across the bottom, give it that extra spoonness. But yeah, guys, this is it. I am super stoked. Guys, well, this is it. This is the completion of the install of the Spoon Sports FD2 wing onto my 97 Civic sedan. I think it fits perfect. So again, the height going with the roof, I think it's spot on. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Everyone who likes, subscribe, comments, even if you just watch. I really appreciate it because it means you guys like what I'm doing. So as always, please like, comment, smash that subscribe button, because I've got a lot more stuff going on. These builds are never done. So be well, stay safe, and you all take care of yourselves.